In these last days, people will worship false gods. As the Antichrist arises, Christians will be persecuted. David Heavener Investigates is proud to bring you End Times Investigations.
Movies, whether you like them or not, sci-fi movies. I'm talking about movies about alien, invasion of planet Earth. I said, well, why do you want to talk about that? I want to talk about that because it's actually in Scripture if you dig deep enough. You see, Hollywood has taken the world of sci-fi, the world of this alien TV series, film world, and they've glamorized it, bastardized it, homogenized it, to the point where people either believe in little green men or they don't believe at all. Men from Mars? Are you kidding, David? Well, you get your tinfoil hat. But here's the thing. Do you think Satan is not smart enough to infiltrate a genre, a world where people are glued to the television? They go to the movies, Star Trek, television. I mean, yeah, he has infiltrated, and one day there's going to be a disclosure where the little green men, which is actually little green demons. Now, let me ask you a question about E.T. All right, E.T., a cute little baby, young boy. They bring it to the house and make part of the family. Are you kidding? They're conditioning us to welcome this into our homes, folks. And I believe we're on the edge of it. I believe we're on the cusp of this thing happening. That's why I have my guest on tonight. The question is, who's behind it, why, and how they're going to do it? And does he think we're getting close? I do believe we're getting close. So I want to bring on my my friend and my guest, L.A. Marzulli. L.A., you out there with me, buddy?
I certainly am, David. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. I tell you what, and you and I have talked about this. From the very beginning, we get attacked with sound issues and so forth. I want to ask you this question. Demons, for those that are listening for the first time, aliens, is there a connection between alien, demon? I mentioned there was. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I mean, if you're speaking to someone who's New Age, who believes in that we're being visited by extraterrestrials, then that's what they're going to tell you. That, oh, these aren't demons. Stephen Greer is a perfect example of that. He's actually gone on the record stating that these are not demons. And he's welcome to come on my show or contact me. We can have a friendly discussion about it. But let me ask you something. Is it okay to abduct a 5-year-old boy and implant him? Never a hand that goes up at any conference I've ever been, New Age or in the church, never a hand goes up. So these entities move in a very nefarious way. They abduct you, they kidnap you, they rape you, and then they bring you back. And when you possibly say that this is a good thing. And it all goes back to Genesis 3:15, where we have the garden, Adam and Eve, the dragons over here, we got the pre-incarnate Christ. And Jesus says to the garden, or to the dragon, your seed will be at enmity, your seed will be at war with the seed of the woman. The proto-evangelion, the one coming from the woman, will crush the dragon's head. That is the entire biblical narrative, because the entire Bible focuses on where Messiah is going to come from. When Abraham's tapped out, that's when the whole anti-Semitism begins. The moment the dragon figures out where the lineage is that the Messiah is going to come through, it starts up. And it never ends until even into modernity. And prophecies around Israel, I'll gather you back from the four corners of the earth, reestablish you in your homeland. And never to be moved again, by the way. So the line is, you have two schools of thought. You've got the Stephen Greer school, the New Age school, believing that these entities are benevolent. They're from Zeta Reticuli or Epsilon and Zeta Eridani, some star system out there. And then you've got the sort of the Christian view, which is no, these are interdimensional entities. They've been here for a long time. They're doing things that tie back into Genesis 3:15. There is a breeding program. These are modern day Nephilim, and there's nothing good about it.
Right. And that's your viewpoint, obviously, because you're a Christian. So we had issues at the beginning of the show. You had sound issues. I had sound issues. Do you believe these could be demonic attacks, demons not wanting people to get the information they need to get because they need to stay under the radar until the disclosure? I know it may sound like conjecture, but they're demonic, right?
Yeah, it's not the first time I've experienced this. They can and do mess with the electrical system.
Yeah.
That's one way that they kind of plug in to our dimension. They can do all sorts of crazy stuff with the electrical grid. And I've seen this before. I've had, I remember a couple of years back, I was speaking at a church and all the light, the whole place went dark. And the tech guys are running up on the stage with flashlights going, we've never seen anything like this. And I just start chuckling, not because of me, but they don't want this information out to the people. So, what happened tonight, is it possible? Sure, it's possible.
Yeah.
But that's all that matters.
Yeah, they're demonic. So I want to ask you, why is it, okay, it's interdimensional. These are demons, and they're going to present themselves one day as an alien from outer space. What is their agenda when they say, hey, I've come from another planet, I've come to help you? Why? What's their main agenda?
Worship. They want to be worshipped. And they'll set the guy in place, the Antichrist, who will be a hybrid. He will be a hybrid man, in my opinion. And they will set up this whole, we know it from Scripture, from the book of Revelation, where he sets himself up as God in the temple and declares that he is God. They want to be worshipped. And that has been the downfall of the dragon, basically, for millennia, and will continue until the rider on the white horse comes and puts an end to all this nonsense. And we are headed towards that moment where the rider on the white horse, Revelation 19, mounts up, and the armies of heaven, that's us, we come with him. And I can't wait for that.
Amen. So let's talk about hybrids, since you brought that up. For those out there that don't know what a hybrid is, LA, can you give us a quick definition?
A hybrid is basically two different species joining together. So in this case, you've got fallen angel DNA, and the women of earth coming together. There's sex that happens, and the woman conceives, and she brings forth a hybrid child who is not fallen angel and not a woman. Basically, you're looking at, or a human being rather. Basically, you're looking at a modern day Nephilim.
Yeah,
that's what
modern day Nephilim. Now, and I'm going to ask you questions I know the answer to, because you and I have done so many interviews, but there's people out there, I believe, LA, that are tuning in for the first time, and I want them to understand what's going on. The hybrid, can it morph? Can it come and can it go? Is it an actual being that's physical, but can it shape shift? Tell me about that.
The hybrids, as far as I know, can move a little bit. When they're discovered, and we've got reports of this, half the face looks alien, the other part doesn't. The eyes will go, slit this way. They'll be like serpentine pupils, and maybe they'll blink this way, like the woman on the plane talked about. And I believe that was real, by the way. I think she was terrified.
You think the woman on the? I was going to ask you about that too. But finish out the hybrid, and let's.
Yeah. So the hybrid entity is the modern day Nephilim. They're in a fixed state. They are soulless. They have no soul. So they're in a fixed state. They are in league with the other side. They are walking amongst us right now, guaranteed. They are here. They are walking amongst us.
And what is their purpose, as opposed to it's part of the disclosure, but do they have a specific purpose, since they're specifically a hybrid?
Yeah, Satan is outnumbered 2-1. He's building an army, and I'm quoting Chuck Missler, the late Chuck Missler, because I asked that 15 years ago. I said, "What do you think about the hybrids?" And without missing a beat, he said, "Yeah, Satan's outnumbered 2-1. He's building an army," which blew me away, because there was no hesitation on Chuck's part.
Right. So let me ask you about the woman on the plane, because when I saw that, I thought of you, and I thought, matter of fact, that's because you and I talked about doing another show. And I thought I got to contact LA. I saw that, and because I'm from Hollywood. I'm a director, and I work around actors, and I can usually spot somebody that's either drunk or they're acting, whatever. Man, I tell you, this
Yeah.
girl seemed really, really genuine. What say you?
Completely. There's the clip. I've watched it numerous times. I think she's reacting in a very emotional way, extremely emotional way. She's not sure how to deal with what she just saw, and so she's out of there. And she's you can hear the tremor in her voice. I think she's terrified.
Yeah.
I did a show over the weekend. We aired it on Saturday on my YouTube channel, LA Marzulli. Mr. X, he's a pilot, so he can't come on the record. And so we disguised his voice. And Mr. X has been saying on the record, stated on the record on our show, that the airlines, as of the last 6 months, there's been a whole line, a whole what's the word I'm looking for? Like not line, but there's been an uptick in these very tall men who are wearing hoodies, and they wear these very dark sunglasses, which kind of wrap around like this. And when they sit in their seat and the stewardess or the steward comes up, can I get you something to drink? They don't answer. They never say a word. They never remove their sunglasses. So something's up. And this is why he came on the record with us and reported it. So this isn't the first excursion. And again, what we're looking at, in my opinion, these entities are learning how to integrate into our society. So some of this is, you say, well, how do they get past TSA? Well, okay, so they pull the hoodie down, but they keep the glasses on for the most part. So they, or maybe they're in control for a certain period of time. They keep the glasses on and they squint. So, there's a lot of ways to get through. They can squint their eyes like that and pretend they're sensitive to the light. There's a bunch of different ways. They don't check your eyeglasses.
Yeah. What about the X-ray, though? I mean, is their body, is it all human? Is there anything that an X-ray could detect, or a doctor?
Well, good question. I don't know the answer to that. I mean, if they're a human hybrid, fallen angel, they're going to pass as a human, except there's going to be some traits that aren't there. Remember, these X-rays are there for one reason. They're there to look for weapons or bombs. I mean, that's what they're there for. And don't get me going down that rabbit trail. But
yeah, I won't do that. So, LA, when we come back, I want to ask you. We're going to continue our conversation about the military, because I want to pull up an article that about the military, and you've been down this road for a long time, harping on this. Also, I want to talk to you about my experience in Hollywood. I mentioned it to you, of how I went to a gathering, a party, and people weren't real. I mean, I have never experienced this in my life. So when we come back, I want to talk to you about AI in Hollywood and how it connects to the alien demon disclosure. All right. Thanks, buddy. Stay with me. All right, you guys, we'll be right back. Here's a message about David Heavener TV. By the way, go sign up to David Heavener TV if you haven't, davidheavener.tv. We'll be right back. Listen, we have the new End Times DVD. It investigates End Times investigation. I have a lot of my friends on here, Lisa Haven, Michael Lake. I have Josh Peck, L.A. Marzulli, Stephen Bancroft. I mean, 8 hours of me investigating things like Satanism and demonic powers, Illuminati, New World Order, Antichrist, one world religion, end times miracles, Bible prophecy. Folks, let me tell you something. One day, what you're watching us on right now, it's called television, it's called social media, it's called the internet. They're going to turn that baby off. You need a hard asset. When all this stuff gets shut off, this is what you're going to be able to learn from and to understand. So I want you to text the word chosen to 91999, or go to davidheavener.tv/order, or call 844-806-0006. The brand new DVD of Last Evangelist. You can get it right now. It's limited collector's edition. It's got the new episode on it, along with band videos with me and Michael Lake and Lisa Haven, Sheila Lazinski. Hey everybody, I am honored and blessed not to have just one new book out, but 2 new books. That's right, 2 new books. The first one is End Times Investigation. I deal with Hollywood mind control. I deal with demon portals, the alien-demon connection, astral projection, program multiples, satanic ritual abuse, and much, much more. The things that I talk about in Last Evangelist and on my shows, all my interviews I do, it's right here in this book, especially my life story. Also, True Power, how to access your true power in these last days, okay? It's a war manual for God's children. We need to learn the enemy's tactics and how to battle the enemy in these last days. Pick up a copy of this book. Just text the word chosen to 91999, or you can go to davidheavener.tv/order, or you can simply call 844-806-0006. Hey everybody, David back with you. Love you, appreciate you. I'm gonna go to a clip that I did with L.A. Marzulli and some other of my buddies. Just 30-second clip. David Heavener investigates on the alien demon phenomena, and then we're gonna come back and talk to L.A. Check it out. They've made many, many movies about aliens, but the question is, are they angelic or demonic? Why don't they want to acknowledge the supernatural?
The seminary education today, that when pastors are being trained, there's no emphasis on the supernatural, even though the Bible's a supernatural book.
As in the days of Noah,
so it will be.
Yeah.
And it goes down to, well, what is their ultimate purpose? Inaugurate the Antichrist.
No emphasis.
Yeah, inaugurate the Antichrist. My guest, L.A. Marzulli. L.A., you talked about the Antichrist. How does the alien demon phenomenon, is this going to tie into the man of sin taking the throne? Does this tie into that?
Yeah, it does. He is the son of perdition. He is the seed of the serpent. He's the seed of the dragon. Genesis 3:15. That's why, unless a person understands Genesis 3:15, when he gets to Revelation, it's like, well, what do you mean the son of perdition? Who is this guy? And I believe he's walking around on the planet right now. I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I don't want to know who it is.
Yeah.
I've got some candidates, but everybody always has candidates.
Right, exactly right. We're thinking it's Hunter Biden right now, and his laptop is a spaceship actually going to take off back to another planet. Oh God! I sometimes I look at this dog and pony show in Washington. I don't want to go there, LA, but sometimes I'm thinking to myself, are these people real? I mean, seriously, or have there been plants? You know.
You mentioned that, we've heard things and stories, but you can't go with them. You just can't, because there's no way to vet them. So I keep them all on the back burner. Let me just answer that by saying this. Nothing would surprise me at this point.
Nothing. Yeah. I was in Hollywood this last time, and I know that, you're a West Coast lover, and I'm from the West Coast. I love it, but I can't tolerate the darkness. It was very difficult for me to come into Hollywood. But I hadn't been about a year, and things had changed so drastically. And I mentioned this to you. I went to an event where they showcase talent. It was at a castle type house. And I walked in, and immediately it hit me, Illuminati. I said, this is an Illuminati event. All of a sudden, this singer who they showcased got up and started making silly motions with their hand. It was almost embarrassing. And people started looking like, what's going on? And I saw, of course, people were snorting coke and all that kind of stuff. It was crazy. But LA, I would look at people and they weren't, one guy, he wasn't there, and I noticed people in this house, they didn't have long conversations. They were just sporadic. And I'm not going out on a limb and telling you that they're all, hybrids, whatever. I've never experienced this before. And I told you about it, and how Los Angeles, how Hollywood is now morphing over into it's either a mindless or artificial intelligence type of thing going on. Here's my question. Does artificial intelligence connect anyway to the alien demon disclosure.
In my opinion, yes, most definitely. It's at the point where we won't be. It's blurring reality from fiction in ways that you can't tell anymore. So someone, great people, I know these people. They're straight shooters. You know, the love of the Lord, great Christian couple, and she sent me, the wifey sent me this picture, and it looked real. It was supposed to be from like 1867 or something, and there was a very, you know, a mountain man type of guy with bare feet, and next to them is a 14-foot Sasquatch, and it looked real. I mean, it really looked real. But of course, you know, you're in the film business, I'm in the film business, and we've got trained eyes, you know, and I immediately started looking at the edges, and I wrote her back and I said, I'm not buying it. If you look at the left shoulder, there's something kind of funny about that left shoulder. You know, it doesn't quite fit in. And I called my buddy Scott Carpenter, who's a bona fide Bigfoot researcher, and he said, yeah, these things have been going around. They're AI created, and what they're doing is they're obfuscating everything. So you can't tell, you won't be able to tell the truth. And this is where we are, where the Bible says truth is thrown to the street. With the advent of AI and how it will permeate every facet of our life, people will lose their bearings completely, because you won't be able to tell very soon what's real and what isn't. You just won't be able to tell. And at that point, that's when he's got to come back.
Yeah, yeah. You know, the writers are striking. One of their main things is artificial intelligence. They're afraid that it's going to take their industry over. I hate to inform them, it's already been taken over. There's nothing they can do. You know, it's there. So I'm at this event, and this is why I want to dissect this with you. There are people there I didn't recognize, okay? Now, I'm thinking, well, maybe some of them are hybrids because I've never seen them before. They clearly weren't home. I'd look at them, they clearly weren't home. There was something wrong with them, you know. But when you mention AI, artificial intelligence, can people be created with this artificial intelligence and sent out? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I don't know about that. Certainly in a virtual world, all that can be created.
Yeah.
So that it's really difficult to ascertain what it is we're looking at. The deal with the hybrids, and Dr. David Jacobs talks about this in his book, Walking Amongst Us. There is always a handler. There's always a handler to the one that they're trying to bring in. And that handler is usually fully human, but the hybrid isn't. And so the hybrid was born on the ship and is trying to figure out, how do I integrate into society? How do I go to Walmart and shop? How does that work? So
this is the artificial intelligence part you're talking about.
Well, no, this is the hybrid entities, which are modern day Nephilim. How did they go to Walmart and pass? And this is why Dr. David Jacobs says Walmart seems to be, and I know it sounds crazy, but oftentimes you can see a handler with a hybrid in Walmart, and they'll go through the whole experience together. So they're grounded in the way things work. We've had all sorts of, not a lot, but we've had enough to know that it's happening. I'll just give you one quick little story. So this woman lives in this upscale development. These people move in across the street. There's never any curtains up. There's just blankets on the windows. They come and go at odd hours. There's a couple of cars in the driveway. Never seen anybody outside. It's just weird. So the woman, Mrs. Kravitz, essentially decides to go over and check it out. So she goes, knocks on the door opens up, and there's the woman of the house. Well, they begin a conversation like, hi, I'm your neighbor across the street. The face shifts. And she's part alien. And they both look at each other. The door slams. Next morning, they're gone. They're just gone.
Wow.
Gone. Yeah. And we've heard stuff like this. I mean, they're definitely integrating. Al Matthews in our, we have a five-part series here on the whole UFO phenomena. 6, 7, 9 are in production. So you know, we're not sitting on our hands, but Al Matthews, who we interviewed in the film, Al has an encounter with a hybrid entity, and the
Yeah.
eyes, you know, go serpentine, and you know, she lets out the most evil laugh you can possibly, you know, imagine in your life. So they are walking amongst us.
Yeah. So every time you walk into Walmart and you see one of those older seniors with the red thing on, you're thinking maybe they're a handler or they're a
Yeah,
hybrid.
you never know.
Hey, I did a show about Walmart parking lot, about how they look out in the Walmart parking lot. What I meant by AI, I'm trying to tie the AI into hybrids, into aliens, you know, the artificial intelligence. How does that connect together? You know, how does it make that connection?
Well, I don't know whether it does or not. I mean, I just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, when was the last time anybody got on the ship and interviewed, you know, the guy and said, "Hey, what are you guys doing with this?" So there's a lot of conjecture. A lot.
Yeah.
One thing I
Right.
do know, that the hybrids are here and they are integrating in society. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
doubt about that.
Yeah. I want to play a clip and I want to ask you about it. It's about abducting Christians and abduction. Why do they abduct people? We're going to talk about that. Spencer, let's roll that. Why abduction? Abduct somebody.
There was one.
Why would an alien or demon want to abduct somebody?
There was one bedroom in particular that was oppressed. It was like the bed itself. That's where the demonic energy and presence was coming from.
So are these demons intentionally causing themselves to be seen?
Part of the encounters abductees will have with aliens is they will communicate to them. They will give them special messaging.
It's another form of higher power. It's a dark power. Yeah, once you go to davidheavener.tv, you can see the full show on there, davidheavener.tv, Spencer. And also we've got the David Heavener Investigates, and I've got LA's on there, Russ Dizdar, a lot of other people. Go there right now. You got a bunch of channels, and that's where you can catch us. So davidheavener.tv. I want you to join, be with us. Go there right now. It's free. You get 30 days free. It's no big deal. Just go sign up. You sign up for a year, you get 2 months free. So LA, abduction, you know, are you seeing more of this coming out now? People coming out with saying they were abducted, and why is this happening?
In our film, which is number 4 in the series, it's on abductions, and we sit down with 2 men and 2 women. 3 of them have been abducted at a very young age, 5, 6 years old, and those abductions went through their entire life. And in the beginning of the film, I'm narrating it, and you know, we're showing a bunch of different scenes, and I go, one of the statements is, these people are isolated, they're fearful, and who would believe them? And this is what's problematic. Like when Emil is 6 years old and he's being taken, right?
Yeah.
His parents are finding him out on the lawn at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so they put locks on the doors and the windows. This is all on film. And the next morning, Emil's on the front lawn, and Emil looks right at the camera and he goes, "Explain that to me." Same thing with Karen. And Karen has been taken numerous times. She was impregnated by them 3 times, and they came and took the child at the end of the 3rd month in the first trimester. I wrote about this 25 years ago in my very first book, Nephilim, which was a fiction and published by Zondervan. It's all there. I mean, there's this whole, in the beginning of the film, that's what the reader comes up against. I remember one of the critics who read the book said, you know, it's a great book, blah, 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 blah. But one gets the feeling that L.A. Marzulli actually believes in this. And I sort of laughed at that and said, you bet I do. Because it was based on decades and decades and decades of research. And I've been researching this and involved in it in some ways since I was like at Boy Scout camp and saw my first UFO at 12.
Wow. Wow. You were 12 years old when you saw your first UFO. Did you know it was a UFO? I mean, did you watch sci-fi movies? Were you like a, Star Trek buff?
There was no doubt. This was 1962,
Yeah.
62. So Star Trek isn't even there yet.
Right.
And we were at Camp Horseshoe, Rising Sun, Maryland. There's 4 boys. We're walking up this ravine, hopping on these huge boulders. It's a shortcut to get back to camp for lunch. That's what we're doing. And I'm the last boy in line, and the lead guy goes, "Wow, what's that?" And he points to the sky. And the other 2 boys goes, "Wow, what is that?" And I go, "Where?" And they say, "There." And I look up, classic silver disc, David, classic silver disc, just hovering like this, about this size, just
Oh.
hovering, classic metallic disc. The sun is glinting off of it, glint, 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 like this. And we watch it for 25 seconds, 25 seconds. This is how it left the scene, just like that.
Wow. Wow.
Straight
So
up.
I want to ask you about the church. Where is the church in all this? Are they warming up to the things that you're saying now, or are they still kind of on the cold side?
They look, I'm part of a church. I love the church. Let's get that, put to bed quickly.
Yeah.
But
Right.
the church has a morbid tendency towards ambivalence, and they just won't address it, which to me is just incredibly alarming. It's like you're not doing your job,
Right.
and part of the problem here is most churches never talk about prophecy, and so their congregation is ignorant of prophecy. Jesus says they'll be like the days of Noah when he returns. Jesus says that men will faint from fear from what is coming upon the earth. Jesus states that even the elect would be deceived if that were possible. Paul states that Satan comes, the dragon comes with all signs and lying wonders. Look, I've devoted my life to this. This is what I do. It's a full-time ministry, and I'm in it up to my eyeballs.
Yeah.
And it's alarming because we're here, and most of the church won't even look at it.
LA, we're going to connect to Roku, Amazon, and Apple in just one moment. And when we come back, I want to talk to you about the abduction of Christians. Is there an agenda? Is that specific, or is it just kind of random? And also the government's involvement. They just uncovered something which we'll talk about in a moment. Can you tell everybody where to get your books and your DVDs and the new movie that's coming out?
Yeah, go to lamarzulli.net, lamarzulli.net, or if you want to stream these bad boys, streaming.lamarzulli.net. Everything is like right there, and for the price of a cup of coffee, you can be watching stuff that'll really educate you and your family. Invite all your friends over, lamarzulli.net.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, LA, hang with us just for a moment. We're just getting started, and man, I tell you, by the way, I really appreciate you, brother, because it's a tough road out there. I mean, the things you talk, people either love you or they look at you like a deer in headlights, Listen, they do that to me. So yeah, I know they do it to you, but anyway, just hanging there with us. We'll be right back. Everybody, I just want to tell you about this End Times DVD. I want to give it to you. If you have no money, I want to send it to you anyway. It's got me, LA's on it, the late, great Russ Dizdar, Mike Spalding, Michael Lake, Lisa Haven, 8 hours of footage of the things we're talking about, aliens, demons, astral projection, you name it. Again, if you have no money, I want to send it to you. Do not let money be an option. If you want to donate to the ministry, that's great. Here's the first episode of Last Evangelist on DVD. It's got banned videos on it. I want to give you my books. Talk about my alien abduction experience in it, which I'm going to talk about with LA when we come back, and also True Power, how to use your true power in these last days. Go to davidheavener.tv/order or /give. Call 844-806-0006 or text the word chosen to 91999. You're going to be able to watch us on davidheavener.tv when you come back. You can tune into Roku, Amazon, Apple TV, or davidheavener.tv. You will not catch us on this platform. or whatever platform you're looking at right now. But I do want to bring Shanita on real quick. Shanita, you out there with me?
Yes, sir.
All
Happy
right.
to be here, LA. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. I was Shanita, do you believe in abduction? I mean, do you believe are people being abducted?
I believe you had an experience. You wrote about it in your book.
Okay, but you have not had an experience, right?
No.
No.
No,
Okay,
and I
but
don't plan on it.
Yeah, but you know people that go to church, your mom and dad, your dad's a pastor. If you talk to them or anybody in church, do they not want to talk about it, or do they shun away from this, or what's been your experience?
I mean, my parents educated me, but in general, yes, a lot of people are lost to shows like Ancient Aliens because the church isn't equipped.
Okay, when you say your parents educated you, you mean what? They told you there weren't aliens, or what?
Oh, they told me that aliens are demons.
Okay, beautiful. Love it. All right. Okay, good. Well, listen, I just want to bring you on and say hi. Any birthdays, anything you'd like to, how about praise reports?
Yes, I have a praise report. And, it was, I think 5 years ago or 6 years ago was the first time that I attended this weekend's conference and heard L.A. Marzulli for the first time there. So I hope that all of our viewers can be there with us.
That's right.
There's nothing like being in person.
Yeah, you're right. This Friday and Saturday in Ohio, they can go there for conference.com, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right.
Trish tells us that she cleans for many elderly people. One gentleman in his 80s has such horrible tremors, they would slam his body against the bed or the chair, and neurologists don't even know what causes it. He had an episode when I was there about a month ago. I prayed over him and Jesus stopped it immediately.
Hallelujah.
I was there a couple days later and he said, or a couple days ago, and he hasn't had any more tremors since then. He had them so frequently he couldn't rest or sleep. So praise God. Praise
God. That is awesome. We get so many emails and people saying that they have been able to understand now about demonic activity, demonic attacks, because of things we talk about and the guests that we have on. And I'm so thankful God can use this ministry. Shanita, okay, well, listen, thank you so much. I love you. And we're going to be praying for people. Yeah.
Yep, we'll be in underground.
Okay, we'll be praying for people underground after our guest. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Go to davidheavener.tv. Sign up right now. Go to lastevangelist.com, support episode 2. It's about the vaccine. And I'm telling you right now, it is crazy. And if you go there now, you can actually pick up this cup of truth. It's the cup of truth, and it's you are someone's last evangelist. Okay, so make sure, call 844-806-0006. Don't forget, if you have to, if you've got to order pillows or whatever, slippers, go to mypillow.com. Use the name David, code name David7. You'll get a discount. And if you want have a house or real estate or whatever, car, boat, whatever that you'd like to donate, you can go to davidheavener.tv/car, and that will help the ministry. We bet. All right, we'll be right back. Don't go away.